All right, welcome back to Baytown Babysitters Club. We're sticking with it until we come up with something better. In this episode, it was my choice. I went a little off book and just picked a movie, read the synopsis, didn't watch the trailer because I'm a cynical asshole. I'll pick anything apart. So I just wanted to go into it blind, which means I forced Jerry to watch this movie. Called The Eyes of the Mother. It's from 2016, and you can find it on HBO Max if by the end of this you're interested. It's a Magnet Movies picture, and when I see that, I'm always like, wow, this is either going to be decent or really bad.
Hmm.
It's just they're so hit or miss with their movies for me.
Mhm.
All right, so it's a black and white movie.
Mhm.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But overall, what did you think of this movie?
Well, what did you think of this movie?
I actually really enjoyed this movie.
Mhm.
It was very interesting. I was by the end of it, I was watching it and like it finishes, and I'm just like, that chick is so crazy. I would match with her on Tinder.
Hmm.
Like, that is an unbelievable level of crazy. And she performed it so nonchalantly, but her eyes were so crazy. Like, it did the thing of implied gore where
Mhm.
like you don't see it, but you see it happening. You
Yeah.
just don't see the actual murder, but you're there watching it.
Mhm.
Um, it did a lot of those things that I just for some reason, a lot of times in movies, I don't necessarily like that, but
Yeah.
for this movie, it worked really, really well.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool. I I'm okay with this. I'm enjoying this. It's very simple. It's very like slow burn, but there's not like any huge climax, but it's still good. I still enjoyed it.
Cool. Cool. What was the scene that like sold you? What was like, man, yeah, I really enjoy what particular scene would you say?
So, spoilers if you haven't seen it, this is a
Yeah.
spoiler.
It's 2016, so
That's fair. What if somebody spoiled Point Break for us though? Um okay, so the thing that got me was after the
I kind
dad.
of knew though that Patrick Swayze was the bad guy because he's on the cover as the bad guy and
Yeah,
stuff.
but we wouldn't have known how awesome.
Yeah, I
Like,
know that movie
it
just
had Patrick Swayze. Of course it was going to be
that
good.
motherfucking
But
movie is an onion, man. It's got layers.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
but anyway, back
Um
to Mama's
yes.
Eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, scene.
So the scene that really got me was after the mom's demise, and the dad takes that dude out into the garage, and the daughter goes out and sees the guy, and then he's like, he's making noise again or something. He's screaming or yelling, he's doing something. And then you see the girl go out to the garage, and you see her come back, and she's like, he won't do that anymore.
Mm.
And then you realize his larynx is gone, and so are his eyes.
Hmm.
Like, that, I was just like, okay, that little 6-year-old is a psycho, or however 10 whatever she is. I was like, she's a complete psycho. She's just like, and there's no lead up to her being that way outside of the initial trauma.
Yeah.
But that's the second day after the initial trauma. So
Hmm.
it's like, I was like, oh no, this was already in her. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, this was somewhere in her.
Yeah.
So that scene like really made me go, all right, let's see where this goes. And so I was down, I was sold after that one.
Cool. Cool. One other. What did you think about, okay, because in the movie she speaks Portuguese and English, so it mixes it up. Did that throw off your viewing experience being like, I think that's English, or oh no, there's subtitles. Okay, there you go. What did you think of that?
No, didn't bother
No.
me.
No.
It was just, she spoke one language with her parents and another with people on the outside. It's the same
Yeah.
thing that happens all the time. Like people speak one language at home with their parents and another at school with their friends. So
No. No. The black and white, do you think it took away from the gore, or did it add to just the, like, dream state quality of the movie?
I think that it added to this movie. It
Okay.
definitely didn't take away, if anything, but I think that it fit the movie really well. I think it was a smart choice. It made the movie feel very old,
Mhm.
as black and white does, but like that, like the mixture of languages with the subtitle, the black and white, it felt very old to me, and I I enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
liked that
Mhm.
aspect. I
Cool.
think that this movie was I really enjoyed this movie, but you haven't said anything, and that scares me. So I feel like you're letting me get out all my things, and then you're just gonna go
No,
like,
I'm just curious. That's what I'm
mhm.
here. I'm the dungeon master here and stuff. I just want to hear your side of it, and before, I go. So, I'm just asking questions, Jacob. Quit panicking. No, that's not a gun over there in the corner.
When I was watching this, a lot of the time I was thinking like, is what is Jerry's opinion on this? Like, how well do I know Jerry? Can I tell what he's going to bring to the table?
Oh.
And I wasn't sure. Like, so I'm very interested to hear your thing, but like I was like, I don't think he's gonna like this, but I could be wrong. This might be some random thing that just like, so
Mm,
I'm super curious, but it does
I
scare
mean,
me that you've been like
look
not.
at look at Mad God that we did the other day. Uh, I I went back and watched Mad God 2 more times last week.
That's a lot.
I did watch it with Tool playing.
Okay, that's fun.
Too fast. It played Tool was a little too fast for the scenery that was going on, and uh but I did it, had my cell phone right there, and
Mhm.
turned the sound down a little bit, but the second time I watched it, I just watched it regular. So but look at that movie.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, it would have been what it was.
Yeah, I
So
think that both of us gave pretty shocking positive responses to that.
yeah.
But we keep moving away from the movie at hand, and you still haven't told me what your opinions on the movie is.
All
So
right. All right. So
let
I
me have
watched
it.
this twice during the
Okay.
day.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I fell asleep the first time I watched the movie.
That makes sense. It's black and white.
No, it's just dull.
Okay.
I got to uh I the first time I watched it, I fell asleep at um when she was last thing I can remember was she was giving grandpapa a bath, and motherfucker was dead. But
Mhm.
like I was just sitting there, and I'm just like I'm just zoning, and I'm just like something interesting kind of would happen.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, here's a movie. Oh, this is gonna be like that. What's that French movie that's really like holy shit?
Necromancer
No,
or
it's about the two girls go back to the farmhouse. Um, they're lovers, and then she like turns into like psycho and starts killing everybody on the farmhouse. Fuck.
high
Wrong.
tension?
High tension. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be something like that. And I was like, oh, nope. Um, the second time I watched it today, and I watched it, I want to say noon.
Mhm.
We're filming this probably at 9 o'clock.
It's 10.
Yeah, it's 10,
Okay. So that's
it's
10
about 10.
hours.
And my brain is slowly but surely just trying to like erase memories
Mhm.
to like keep room to go, okay, I got to review this. So I got to remember things. And like, it was just dry. Did I hate it? No. Did I love it? No. Is there moments in it that are really good? Yeah. They're nice moments. I think the black and white took away
You
from the
do.
gore. Yes. Um, like there are there are certain black and white style movies or dry movies,
Yeah.
like The Witch.
Right.
I
Okay.
love The Witch, but this,
See that I couldn't get through.
yeah, this and The Witch, they're that dry, like what the fuck's going on, like that kind of obliviousness. The Lighthouse is
Mhm.
another one. Um, Heredity
Mhm.
I would almost put Heredity with this movie. But I had this weird moment where I was like, how come I really enjoy those fucking movies?
Right.
And this one I'm really just struggling to get through.
Mhm.
And I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
Um and it doesn't have anything to do kind of like, okay, the beginning of the movie when she's a little girl looks like, they live in an old farmhouse in the 1950s, like with, a car with a steering wheel like this, but yet
Mhm.
when she grows up, it's like modern day or something. Like,
Well, so I
did you
didn't
get
think
that?
it was I did notice that because the dad drives that old ass car. They're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but the only sense of new age thing is when she's grown up and she goes to the bar.
Yeah.
But even that bar still feels like it's the 80s because
Yeah.
it just has a big ass neon sign that says bar. You know what I mean? Like it nothing felt 2000s, 90s, late 80s even. Like the TV she has is still super old. She still has a
Yeah.
landline.
And they're playing
Like
like old shows on the TV too.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So I feel like it was an appropriate jump of time. Like that might have been the 70s or late 60s in rural Virginia. It was like that.
mm,
In rural Tennessee, it was like that. Hell, it's like that all over West Virginia now. So like
yeah.
the time frame, I noticed it, but I
Yeah.
was like, nah, it makes sense. Like
Mm.
there's still places out here that you can go and people don't have, amenities and things like
Oh
that. So
yeah.
like that didn't really take me out of the movie.
Yeah. Like it didn't take me. It's just like it kind of was confusing. And then that's when I think, especially now in retrospect, I think I get what it over tried. And it tried really, really hard to be this artistic styled horror movie. Like last week we watched Mad God, and that's very artistic style horror movie.
Mhm.
This but Mad God was kind of based on someone's art. This is kind of based on that every shot has to kind of look like a photograph. And I do enjoy that a little bit. Like if you were to hit fast forward with your eyes closed and hit stop and then take a photo with your like camera of your TV while that's playing, it would look like an awesome photo. You know, it looks very nice. It's angled out perfectly,
Mhm.
Um, but was this movie made for someone to test? Remember when we watched it and it's like this movie, when we watch movies and it'd be like, this movie feels like let's make a test movie to test our new camera equipment or our new uh editing softwares and stuff. That's what this almost feels like because it feels like it's missing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Like physically in the
No,
movie, do you feel like there's like holes?
no. I
No.
mean, so the thing about the movie for me was it was very simple. It did the killing off screen, but you still saw it. You just didn't see like the actual impact of the hammer or the knife or whatever the
Mm,
case is.
her sewing.
Yeah, like that
Well, you
that
see is
was
some sewing and
what,
stuff, but
right. You see some things, but it's not like the actual, like she's hugging that dude and stabbing him in the back. Like that was really interesting to me. And it just felt like you're right, it did feel like an old period piece.
mm,
Like it did make me go, you know, I could have seen this movie made in like the 80s or the 70s or the 60s or something like that. Like it gives that vibe, but I was enjoying it. And
mm,
the thing that I enjoyed the most about the movie was obviously this girl who plays the main character. Again, she's so nonchalant. Like all of this just makes perfect sense in her head.
yeah, she did
It's
play
not
crazy
there
good.
there's no, like, franticness, there's no, like, signs of mental illness, you know what I mean? There's no, like,
No,
chewing fingernails or, like, turning lights on and off 10 times. There's, like, nothing that,
yeah,
like, makes
she's
her
not
crazy
disheveled.
outside, exactly. Outside of her just being crazy, she's she's playing it so straight. Like the
Mhm.
only time that I really noticed anything was 2 times in the movie where the girl comes home with the girl and I was looking at her eyes and they just get really, really big. And then
Yeah,
again, when she brings the baby in the house and then the woman is like crawling to her, her eyes get really, really big. Those are the only times that like you see her unhinged, and that is so subtle. Like everything just made sense to her. Like, yes, this is what happens in this situation. This is what you do when this happens. Like it all just made me feel like I'm crazy for thinking she's crazy.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. Um, the
The
camera
only
work was kind of cool because like you see the guy wandering off into the woods, and then you see her, like,
photography, yeah,
walk across the thing and then down the stairs and then out. I liked the way it was shot.
yeah,
It I think I actually had to rewind this movie about halfway through to the beginning just to check to make sure. For some reason, I had it in my head that the movie started in color, and then
no,
when the mom died, it
it
all was
went
black
black and
and
white.
white.
That would have been
Yeah.
an
I
interesting, like a reversed, um, Wizard of Oz idea that when
Yeah,
she was with her mother, it was colorful and bright,
right.
and the second that her mother was murdered in front of her,
Right.
it
For
went
some reason,
black
I
and white.
remember in my head, and I don't know why, but I remember him holding a red book. And then I remember the bathroom being super bright white and red everywhere.
Mhm.
And I was like watching the movie, and it was like halfway through it, and I was like, wait a second, this isn't black and white. Was the beginning in color? So I went back and checked it, and
Mhm.
it wasn't. But yeah, it was really weird. It just I don't know. I liked it. I liked
Good.
how simple it was. So yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Once more,
Mhm.
I would put it on like they looked at those modern style horrors, Midsummer,
Yeah.
Lighthouse, The Witch,
Mhm.
Heredity, couple other ones. Probably even like X, but I haven't seen that.
Right.
But I've seen the trailers and I know I really want to watch it, you know. And
I also feel like this was like so the only negative thing that I really have about the movie is I feel like this was a quick push, or maybe this is what led to the movie Pearl that keeps being advertised. Um,
mm,
I feel like that is a take on this movie.
okay.
But
No, I
anyway.
don't I I don't know Pearl. But it's still a beautiful movie, you know. It's still like if anything, my star ratings tonight, will be for the cinematography, be for the acting. I thought, the like you said, the eye thing. I noticed that. I
Yeah.
noticed like especially when she gets emotional when she realizes daddy's dead.
Mhm.
Those small moments are really nice. Um, but there just wasn't enough of them, I feel. You know.
Okay. Alright. Do you think that the way this woman is her fault?
No, this is trauma. This
Do
is
you
PTSD of being alone.
have do you have sympathy for her? Like,
Uh
let's say this was a documentary on this, let's say that woman was real. She's been charged, she's been put in prison, and a documentary about her life came out, and this was the documentary, and you saw why, and you saw the crimes. Do you have sympathy for her?
Sympathy? No, I have no sympathy for this person for what they did. Sympathy, I have none, but I do have kind of like
Empathy?
pity.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
oh, it sucks
So
that this human being kind of was never like taught like this is a right and this is a wrong kind of deal. So, but it's the character. I mean, I feel more sympathy for Leatherface because those fucking kids were just breaking into that man's house.
that's true.
Uh,
That's very true. He
the
just wanted
sympathies of
the
Leatherface. Yeah. Where the fuck are they
yeah,
coming from? Uh, it's their fault. They broke into a house with a cannibal.
exactly. Yeah.
Wasn't his
Um,
fault. He was just protecting his land.
okay,
Whereas
for
this woman
me,
went out and she did this crime, you know.
okay, so to me, I see it differently.
Okay.
To me, I have extreme sympathy for her. That doesn't excuse her crimes, but I do have sympathy for her because she only killed one person that didn't deserve it. She
Yeah.
only she only hurt two people that didn't deserve it. So the woman that she picks up at the bar,
Yes.
that was from beginning to end wrong, but she was dealing with rejection for the first time.
Mommy's
Eh,
murderer.
he deserved it. I don't care about
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the woman that she picks up at the bar.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve that, but she's dealing with rejection for the first time and she doesn't know how to handle it.
Yes.
So she overreacts, she kills him. That still not okay, but I feel sympathy for her. She doesn't know how to deal with that. And the only way she does know how to deal with things is to kill them. So I don't that's the one that I'm like, okay, you gotta go jail. The guy that killed her mom, I would be like, good, high
Yeah.
five.
No, he should have been dead the first
The
second. So
dad, yeah, exactly. The dad, she didn't kill him. She
no.
just kept him around afterwards. That's weird, but whatever. Um, and then the mom and the baby, she never hurts the baby. She wants the baby. So she only
Yes.
hurts the mom. Now that mom's life is
Still a crime?
ruined. It's still a
Still a
crime.
crime? Okay.
Absolutely. It's still a crime. But I'm saying that woman and that other woman are the only people that she's guilty of doing anything wrong to.
Yeah.
The baby, yes, but I wrap that up with the mother. Like that's a situation.
Yeah. That's
So those two
one
things.
perpetrated
But
crime right there.
also at the same time, she loves that baby so much that she's willing to knife off policemen. How much damage did they do by shooting that woman in the face holding a child? That's how you create Dexter. Actually, that's the plot line to Dexter.
That's the plot into
So
Dexter, yes.
they didn't do any good in that situation. They didn't help that boy at all.
Especially
That
because
boy would have never known that that was his mom in the attic
yeah.
or in the barn. So they fucked him up,
Well,
not her.
he doesn't know that that's his mother.
That's what I'm saying.
And
He would
so
have never known that.
the movie, if anything, the underlying tone is what that is. You have two children of the same age. This one keeps, this one releases. The boy released.
Right.
He saw this and said, no, this isn't right. The girl said, this is what I know,
Right. Dad
and
did this, and this must be okay because dad did this.
where the
It's
boy,
simple mentality.
yeah, the boy says, no, I person, that person, no person should be like that,
Right.
I'm going to do this,
But also at that age that boy is, because that boy is younger than the girl was.
Eh, probably by a
By
couple years,
Yeah, I would say probably 3 years.
No.
So he's more prone to being like, well, mommy keeps her there for a reason. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The girl at that age should have known, like, you don't do that to people. But she went along with it because of the trauma.
Yeah.
She thought that that's what you do to people. Dad did that, so I'm gonna let that fly.
It's the idea of uh bad dog owners make bad dogs.
Uh,
So
but
it's
outside of him going in that barn, which he was told never to do, he would have been a perfectly well-adjusted kid for the most part.
Yeah.
I would believe, because you don't see anything of her abusing him, hurting him, showing him, these extreme acts of violence or anything
Mhm.
like that. So he could have grown up just fine and never been the wiser.
Yeah.
Like a kid who's adopted or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think the only damage to him was done by the police.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And that woman's life's over anyways. Like, that, she has no throat, she has no tongue, she has no eyeballs. How's she ever going to live? She can't make money. She
that
can't support this kid.
kid's gonna be in the system now.
Exactly. Like, just they should have just Texas Chainsaw 3D'd that and left her alone. Like, they should have been like, all right, well, we found you, you're safe. Oh no, we can't find the house. Like, they should have
Or
just left her the fuck alone.
also just rewriting the script. Cops come to the door, knock on the door. Excuse me, ma'am. We've had a disturbing out here on your property. Uh, a woman, and then she just plays it off because she is psychotic.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, no. You can look in the barn. What's all these chains for? That's for the spring slaughter of the cows. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah. No, no, we're good. Your boy here, ma'am. Oh, okay. Yeah. Woo. Way to
Yeah.
go,
So
laddie.
the only
And then they
reason
get in the car and
that
go.
that would be great, the only reason that doesn't work is because that woman could write. Because if you remember correctly, she gives the crazy girl a ride home. She
Yeah.
knows where the house is. She knows the number of, she knows the address. She can be like, I was here on a piece of paper. And that would explain why they just found her.
No.
But
And that's
like,
where my brain kind of like, okay, I want you to remember an address from 4 years ago while
bro,
being malnourished and
you think that that number wouldn't play in your mind a
that's a
thousand
good
times a
point. I
day
didn't think of
if
that.
all
Yeah.
you're sitting there doing is sitting in a fucking at or a barn,
True.
and there's nothing else going on in your life, and you're thinking, where's my kid? How is my kid? Is my kid okay? What did she do? What has she done to me? I'm not even really aware of the full extent because I can't see, hear,
Yeah.
think, whatever the case is. That whole situation plays over in her head. She could probably paint a picture perfect image of that house
Yeah.
and that woman. And I so like all that all that I can all that makes sense to me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
none of that is out of the realm of possibility. All right, so let's yeah. So would you pay to see it in theaters?
Yes, maybe it might change my perspective to see
I
it in a dark theater on a big screen. It may change the viewing. I don't know how much. I don't know if we're gonna go from like 20 to 50 or 20 to 100% of
mhm.
enjoyment. But yeah, I'm not gonna buy popcorn though, and I'm not gonna buy the drink.
I would just because
Maybe I'd sneak in.
I would just for the cinematic, like the cinema, the scenery.
Yeah.
I would the way it's shot, how nicely it's shot, how good it looks. I'd pay to see it for that. Not so much the movie itself. Thriller kill.
As as I am right now, I'm not gonna throw or kill it for you because I have such like just like a meh
I'll
kind of.
answer it for you. It was a kill because you fell asleep the first time. Um,
Yeah,
for me, it was a thrill. I enjoyed
and I
her.
wasn't even fucking tired. Like I
Well,
like
that's the
I'm
thing. Black and white movies do that to me. Like I
I
found myself getting tired in this movie and I had to like get up, walk around a little bit, move some
um,
stuff around on a shelf and then like lay back down. I had to wake myself back up because I do get sleepy from black and white movies. Um for me it was thrilling just because just watching her play such a subtly crazy person, like making her watching her make me feel crazy for thinking she's crazy. It was like such a good mind fuck that I was enthralled the entire time.
yeah.
Um Stars, how many?
Okay, I'm gonna do this like I did last week. Um, for cinematography, I'm gonna go 5 because it
Mhm,
is beautiful and
mhm,
the shots are like I said, picture quality. Like
mhm,
it's beautiful. But for movie altogether, like I'm gonna go 2 right
hmm,
now.
okay,
So
interesting.
no.
I'm gonna give it just a run of the mill 3.5. It's by no means the best movie that I've seen even recently. But it's not bad, and I enjoyed a lot of the aspects of the movie.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna throw 3.5.
And for acting, because of her
Mhm.
having basically to hold this movie up like fucking Atlas,
Yeah.
I'll give it her acting abilities like 3.5
Mhm.
because that is like,
It's
you
hard
know,
to do. This movie is
yeah,
all her.
it's yeah, like I said, it's got that quarantine feel again where there's only
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 actors.
This was
And
2016. It's not even
yeah, I'm just saying like this idea, like obviously
it's
it
folk
didn't
horror
start.
though.
Yeah,
There's nothing going on, but there's so much going on. That's the
yeah,
idea behind folk horror, like Midsummer. There's nothing in that movie happening. But the entire time
no,
you're like, wow, this movie's amazing. You know what I mean? So if like this movie was in bright colors, you
yeah,
I could understand you being like, oh, I really enjoyed how bright everything was and how vibrant
yeah,
the colors were. You know what I mean? Like if you watch Midsummer in black and white, then you'd be like, I fell asleep like 53 times. Like
nah.
there's nothing happening in the fucking movie.
uh,
So
I
it's just folk horror. It's just the
no,
way folk horror is. Even The Dark and the Wicked was like that. It
yeah.
was more entertaining. There was more like demons and stuff like that to
Is
keep you
that the one
entertained.
with the
The brother and sister on the farm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was just getting ready to say I think out of folk horror movies that we have reviewed and watched, that still is my favorite.
Yeah. And you
Like
weren't even that big of a fan of
I
it when we
wasn't,
watched it.
but
Yeah.
I've repeated. I've
Hey, maybe
watched it
give this
again.
a watch again in a couple months. And
That's the thing is that I'm gonna have to give it time
yeah.
and then I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. And maybe my outlook will change